I am your host, Kay Bella, and this is Bella Talks, where we talk about fitness, fashion, finance, and life. And I have a big hitter on the show today. And
thank you.
He does a lot in the community. If you ever been to the downtown Sydney and Burns where they have the art and poetry, he is one of the ones that is over it. Don't you partner with somebody?
Yep. Yeah. So we're a team. We call ourselves Gulf Coast Leisure or GCL.
Yes.
And we do that together. Big
in the community. So I want to welcome Brian Franklin to the show. So let's start this off like we always do. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Brian Franklin. Some of you know me as B Frank. That's my stage name.
B Frank.
I am a producer and co-founder of events in Southwest Florida under the LLC of Gulf Coast Leisure. Gulf Coast Leisure. We call ourselves GCL. We host events, poetry nights, open mics, cultural events. We help with talent when it comes to grand openings, anything connected to creativity. We are for. We have a podcast as well, the GCL podcast.
Yes.
Tune in. You know, the IG is popping, the Facebook is popping, and I myself just want to do whatever I can do to do best by people, and kind of use my skill set. I do hosting, so you need an MC, and I'm also an insurance agent. Most people aren't excited about that last one, but I always drop it anyway.
But you need to be excited because insurance is a big deal.
I would say that I try not to brag too much, but I'm gonna brag on this one. I feel as though when it comes to educating and understanding how insurance works and how just everything insurance related, especially with life and health insurance and Medicare, I am the best that Southwest Florida has. And I say that not only because of my own belief, but people around me. They go, "Wow, I never had someone explain to me that way."
Right.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that good. I know what I'm talking about, and I can prove it." And I touch every aspect of it. So a person couldn't come to me and say, "Well, I got this, and you don't know about it." Trust me, if you have it, I got an information order, or I could be back to you in an hour with everything you need to know. So the insurance thing is really big, and I do believe if we understood our insurance as well better as far as life insurance and health and Medicare, and even though I don't do homeowners and car, if you understood how those work, you would love them. The hatred comes from insurance companies being sneaky, and people not knowing what they have and how it works.
Right.
So that's a bad mix right there. I don't even know what my thing does.
Exactly.
But if you don't know what it does, it's probably not gonna do what you wanted to do.
But the thing and you brought up a good topic about I don't know what it does, but having someone like you explain it and maybe switch over to something that works for you in this point of time in your life is big. So like if you do have insurance and you don't know what it is for or what it does, you need to reach out to him.
You need to reach out, and it's not just about switching. I want to talk about that because some people go, "Well, I don't want to switch. Change is scary."
Yeah.
So a lot of times, if you call the right person, they can tell you what you can do with what you had.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not about, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." Sometimes the first question I ask people with any insurance, health insurance or even life, and they're like, "Oh, do you have life insurance?" That's the first question. You called me, but do you have it? "Oh, I got it at my job." "Okay, I'm gonna tell you how it works." Do you know how that works? "Oh, I think okay." You don't want to think anything. You want to know. You know what I mean? So that's that. And then I'm also a really good host too. So if you need an MC for your wedding or your event, I'm your guy. As long as they speak English, I'm in there. As long as they speak English, every environment I've done open mics. I've done 1,000. I had 1,000 crowd festival that I hosted. Church events. Secular rock. I did rock events. A couple of those. That was interesting, but we had a good time. So I'm in there.
Okay. So I don't know what you want to speak on, but I do want to ask you, how did you start? What inspired you and why? I'll probably want to talk about the GCL and the life insurance because that's a big thing.
So how we started with GCL, I graduated high school out here, and I went to Fort Myers. Then I went to Baker. I want to graduate at Baker, and I'm not a party person. I don't do clubs. So
Right.
we did baby clubs at one point when I was like 16 or whatever. Then we got older and it was time to like party, and that's not really my lane. I can do it. It's fun. There ain't nothing wrong with it. But I just didn't feel comfortable. I just felt like I shouldn't pay somebody just to like listen to a DJ play music.
Right.
And play like $100, $300 in VIP. So I was like, okay, cool. But what I do like is to be around people who are expressing themselves. People who just, as I say, being dope. Like, what are you great at? So I spent maybe 2 years in Tampa. I was working up there. I followed some girl up there, and that didn't work out. It's always a girl. I followed some girl up there. I was in love. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Wow.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I don't think I used the L word, but I was definitely like making in love plans. Let's call it that way. I was making plans as if I never used.
You was in hard like.
I was in hard like. I never used the L word. I don't think I did. I don't know. Somebody might have to check me on that. But what I really was, I was planning future together at 21 years old with a woman that wasn't. She was meant for somebody, but not me.
Ooh.
So. Anyway, I'm up there. It's Tampa. I'm moving from here. Everything here is slow. It's 2008, 2009, recession. Everything's kind of dead here.
Yeah.
Up there, e-board and all that. A lot of opportunity to...
Right.
I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to go to poetry nights. So now I'm going to poetry nights, and I was just impressed by that community because they could have fun. And it didn't have to be super rah-rah. Now that community can still get rah-rah, like as dangerous as any other. But there was a lane. Oh, the poetry scene, man, they be extra. They still do all the extracurricular stuff that you would think. They do it there too. So if you want to get into trouble, any scene can get you into trouble. But generally speaking, it was just people. I just like to be around amazing people, and it seemed like a higher quantity of amazing people in that environment. So we did that there. When I moved back after that woman that I chased up there or followed up there didn't work out, and I actually met my wife in Tampa, so that worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And when we moved back, I said, I want to do something different. After I get off of work, I don't want to be in the house. I'm not gonna go hang out at the mall, go to a bunch of movies, and I'm not gonna go to the club. What are we gonna do? Okay, let's start a poetry night. So my brother, one of my best friends, at the time he was into the party scene, but he saw the worth in it.
Right.
And I contributed 100% to our relationship, how that played out, because I got him to buy into something that wasn't his lane. At the time, everybody was party houses in the house tonight.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing. We was wilding. It was wilding, and he was just saying, hey, all right, if you do this and this, I'll support you. And I did this and this. And he came out and we did our first shows. They made me the host. I've never hosted before. I was a rapper before that.
Wait a minute, let's talk about that. You was a rapper?
Yeah. Everybody got a phase. First of all, I just want to say that living in Lee County. Living in Lee County. You know what I'm saying? Lee County. You know what I'm saying? Living in Fort Myers, I'm a big fan of Frank Lenny. So I was a big fan of Frank Lenny, even though I wasn't born here. I became a really big fan of Frank Lenny and just a lot of local MCs. And if you bout what I'm about and you got dope in the spot, you whip it up and collar my click, right? All that stuff. We was in that. I was wearing black tees.
Does anybody else know about Brian?
Yeah, I was a rapper.
Rapper?
You won't find any of that anywhere though. Like I made very sure. I got big plans to be like mayor or president or something.
And they don't pull out like Brian.
In 08, you said dumb. What did you say? Nah, I was at a different place, and anyway. So then, boom, we come back, and I was hosting, and it was up from there, man. 2012, 2011 is when we started, and we have been consistently bringing whoever's interested together, and we've consistently allowed and created a space for people to be dope. So we've had people who performed on our stage who went off to get record deals, or who have residencies in different places. They go on tours, everything from hip hop to poetry to reggae bands to rock to actors. There's a guy who just won. He has a couple TV shows now. The thing is, my memory is shot. Yeah. But he won America's Got Talent. It was a black dude. He's a comedian. What? He won American Got Talent, and he got a couple of TV shows, and he's a comedian. We did a show with him at the Legion in Fort Myers. You know, we had him and an artist named Matt Price, which is funny. I remember the one who didn't get famous. He actually wound up dying a couple of years ago, a young guy. But again, we've been blessed. Like God.
There's a lot of gems. It is a lot of talent here.
A lot of talent. So that's how I started with that. And then for the insurance stuff, I'm just a weirdo. Everything's just me being weird. With the insurance stuff, it was I'm a restaurant guy. I was flipping burgers. I was a manager at Five Guys when I started the poetry thing. Then I left that and was working at a restaurant. I was a kitchen manager. I called myself the kitchen manager. They didn't call me that, but I called myself that. It wasn't on my paycheck.
You made your own.
I made my own title. That's who I am. I'm that person. I'm that guy. I was like, I'm the kitchen manager. And all my coworkers were like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, no. When the chef left, this is why I call myself kitchen manager, because when the chef, who was the boss, when he left and when he called out or when he left, who did he put in charge? Me. And you know what I'm saying? And I got a raise. So I'm like, okay, I got a raise. And when he leaves, and now that this is over with, yeah, y'all, I got a raise. I ain't telling none of y'all. But anyway.
At this point, they're probably like, we don't care.
At the time, they was like, oh, kitchen manager. Anyway, so I'm working in the kitchen. And I'm doing my thing at this restaurant, and the weirdest thing is me being an insurance agent came to me like a calling, like a really random, like you know how people, I decided I want to climb a mountain, and it wasn't a dream. That's what the insurance agency was like.
What?
I kid you not. And
it wasn't a dream. Like
I don't know. I don't know
people's lives, but
I don't know where it came from. There's no reason for me to be an insurance agent. Like there wasn't like a bunch of insurance agents around me. The most I got was them MLM cats. You know, I ain't gonna name them, but it's the you get your downline and you do this. And I was experienced with that, but what I was trying to do was do like have an agency, State Farm and Geico and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And I'm working at this restaurant, and it got to the point where I would work and be cussing because I was like really angry at that time. I'm walking and I'm cutting potatoes or whatever, and I'm like, I can't wait till I'm an insurance agent. I ain't gonna never have to do this no more. And it was like that, like to the point where it's weird. No one checked me and said, yo, you know you could just do that right now.
Right.
And in my head, I did some college, but I didn't get a degree. All I knew was restaurant stuff. All I've ever worked was restaurant industry.
Right.
And whether it was fast food or full service, that's all I knew. So in my head, I couldn't be an insurance agent without some sort of degree or something. Like even to the point where when I found out there was no degree required to be an insurance agent, I was like, well, I need to like do sales. So let me get a job at Verizon or T-Mobile or Xfinity.
So you were trying to prep yourself when you really didn't have to.
I didn't need to do none of that. You know how I became one? Because we were in the middle of a move, and by this point, I already had my wife. We had one kid, and my wife was pregnant. And we were in the middle of moving from one place to another. And again, a calling, like God, like I want to say it was my idea, but where the heck did it come from? We're packing, right? And something said, hey, you know what you should do? You should call every insurance agency within like 5 miles, like in a short GPS to Google, and call them and ask them, well, what does it take to work here? That's all I did. So I'm calling, so I'm calling the people, and I would go. And I'm being awkward because that's who I am. I go, hey, I know this is really random. It's in the middle of the day, but quick question. I don't need a quote. Let's pretend I'm like a high school student. I'm not. But what would it take to be one of you guys, right? I want them getting job interviews from that. Because they were like, the one place that called me was like, hey, just come down. And I'm like, what do you mean? Could you be here by this day at this time? So I go there, and I'm wearing the cleanest outfit I've ever worn in my life. I was straight up, I went full, like, I had a button-up shirt with a sweater vest on top of it with a tie. I was doing way too much.
Oh my God.
I had a briefcase.
A briefcase?
I bought a briefcase. It was nothing in it. It was nothing in it but like loose paper. I sit down, I got my cologne on, I'm just super fresh, edge. I was losing my hair at the time, so the edge was back here, but I was still holding it together. And I sit down, and yeah, they hired me at State Farm in North Fort Myers, and I learned about auto and home, and that kind of started me off. I realized that I don't want to be a car insurance guy because that was rate increases kind of break your heart. So you call it, hey man, your insurance went up. That kind of broke my heart. But when I learned about life insurance, I was like, oh, I can do that. There's no rate increases in life insurance. So I don't have to call people and go, hey, your life insurance costs $200 more now.
Right.
Like, boom. So that was cool. And then health insurance came to me because someone said you should look into it. And then the more I learned about it, the more it saved my life. I see a mental health counselor, like a therapist, because of my health insurance. I wouldn't have done it, but I have health insurance, and if I do it over the phone, it's free. And I'm gonna do anything that's gonna be like cheap as possible. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'll go, oh, it's free. Bet. So now I got a therapist. Only because it's free. If it costs
but do you think that I know over the phone you still can talk it out, but would you not want to see your therapist in person?
Nah, it's lit. Telehealth. Listen, if you're watching this is not exciting to everyone else, but to me it's the bee's knees, dog. Listen, telehealth. All right. Anybody with any type of insurance out there, whether it's from your job or Medicare or whatever, what you do over the phone is always going to be exponentially cheaper than going to see somebody. Now, every time I see somebody, I got to take off that day. I got to make sure the kids is here. I got to sit in that office. I got to fill out the paperwork. I'm only going to see that doctor for 30 minutes, dude.
Right. If that. Right? Half of that conversation is with the nurse before I see the doctor. Right.
Sometimes I don't even see the doctor, right? With the mental health, in the same situation, I don't have to use the gas and the time. I'm already FaceTiming everybody anyway. We do live videos.
Oh, you do video?
I'm comfortable.
Okay.
So for me, whether it was speakerphone or whether it was a video, it just makes more sense for me to save the money and time. Can't get time back, and I would love to save more money. I can drop both of those down. Telehealth, virtual health. If you got a skin problem, you got a mental, you got an eye, all that. The only thing, obviously, there's certain things they're going to say you need to come in for.
Right.
But my whole MO, instead of waiting 3 weeks to visit this doctor, when I got to wait to see you for 3 weeks, I can go on my telehealth, see any doctor. He can see it, prescribe, boom, we move on.
Oh, they prescribe?
They prescribe on virtual health. They will prescribe you if it makes sense. Again, you can't do everything.
Right. But just like certain things that I don't want to waste my time going to this doctor or going to urgent care.
You talking to them, they put the phone up, listen, they hear you cough. Oh, that sounds like bacterial. Okay, we're going to prescribe you this bacterial.
Because
blah,
they do
blah,
it when you're in person anyways. It's like trial and error.
Boom. They're going to try and error. So the whole thing is, again, you have to use discernment.
Right.
Use wisdom. Certain things you need to go in for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some things are so soon that maybe you can't play the trial and error game.
Right.
But if it's like, yo, I got a cough, or I got this weird thing on my skin, or hey, I've been feeling this way in my stomach, I would rather do the virtual. In some cases, talk to a doctor the next day or that day.
Right.
And then for them to say, okay, take this, eat this, don't do that, or I need you to come in, or you should go to your primary, or you should do whatever.
Right.
And like this system is like, you just gotta be comfortable with new things. If you're down to try it out and have the patience to learn it. And for me, for the mental health thing, what was cool was this place that I just signed up for. It's called the Traveling Therapist. They I don't know how we got on the subject, but they made their application like, it was so simple because I get anxiety sometimes.
Oh, so that's the new thing. Everybody got anxiety because my anxiety be through the roof.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you think about what we've been through in one lifetime, it'd be weird to not have anxiety. Like, yo, you went through Y2K, there was a war, there was 9/11, there was pandemic. It's 3 times in my lifetime they said the world was finna end. Like at least 3 times. The Mayan calendar,
right?
Y2K. So if you don't have a little bit of anxiety, you just built different. I salute you. But at any rate, but to not make it a hindrance, boom, boom. So I didn't want to go through all that paperwork. So this place made it super simple, and it was like, oh, your copay. And I, because I know my insurance, I said, copay? What you mean copay? It says here, telehealth, virtual health, free. Are we not doing this on the phone? We're doing it on the phone. Bet, run it. And then boom, and it's been good ever since.
Wow. So if you have, like Brian said, anything going on that is feasible as far as not having to go in and get it actually checked, telehealth is your
Telehealth is
go-to.
is my jam. Listen, people underutilize Like, you can't be met. The system is ugly, but people don't tell you.
Scared to do the phone thing.
Listen, if I'm in my bedroom and I don't feel good, my stomach hurting, I would rather go put my clothes on and drive down, do all that, and get. And then if you ever be sick or kind of sick, and then go to the doctor's office and see other sick people.
Yes.
And you in your head like, yo, this is kind of high risk when you think about it. Like, this don't make no sense.
You be like, I think I'm gonna get worse just sitting here waiting.
Yeah, you sitting there, and sometimes they put you in like another room.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to be. Okay, I know you saying that I'm sick. But you put me in a room with other sick people, my sick might be different than they sick.
Exactly.
Now we can rechange it. So it's like, if you know better, some people will do better.
Right.
But you gotta get out. But the whole point is like, with the telehealth, virtual health, that's a tool people don't use.
Yeah.
People don't use urgent care. You run up that urgent care, people go to the emergency room for everything.
Yeah.
If you're not actively dying, don't go to the emergency room.
Okay, we are not licensed physicians. So,
not
take our word.
Oh, you know. I'm sorry, I should put that disclaimer. I am not a licensed physician. But, okay, I am not a licensed physician. In addition to that fact, I would also say be aware of what you can use and what place and how it will save you money. If I see two gas stations and one says $5 a gallon and the other one says $3.20, which one am I gonna go to? $3.20. Now what if the $5 one is right in front of me and the $3.20 is 2 blocks over? Do I still go to the $3.20?
If I have enough gas to make it.
Boom. That's discernment. Discernment is being aware of your circumstance. I know my car. If I'm on yo, just get the $5 and let it ride out.
If I'm on what?
If you on if you on go to the $5. If anything, put $5 in there and then drive over to the 220 and then fill it up. Boom. Discernment is knowing that. Like, you know what? I'm on I'm on Like that stop sign. Getting out of that stop sign was kind of rough. My car went chicken. So I'm gonna go get the $5. I might put $5 in the car. And you get like, yo, I'm here, I might as well keep going. Or you might go, I'm gonna put $5, and I'm gonna go to the 320 and fill up my tank. Because mathematically, you might go, that makes sense. If your time, that's discernment.
Gosh.
With the healthcare thing, people will go, and especially men.
Oh,
not just men.
Yes.
All right, I don't know how we're gonna lane, but I just want to say something.
No, say it.
Men, specifically, the older you get. I ain't gonna say elderly men. I'm gonna say the older you get, it gets worse, right? So the 20-year-old is not even as bad as the 32-year-old. You think the 20-year-old is indestructible, which they do think they're indestructible. But men, we do this a lot, especially men of color. But all people do this. But specifically that demographic, from my experience, okay, I say this. These cats will do something like have an illness that they are aware of, a huge bump on their shoulder or whatever, and they will walk it off until it becomes a major problem. And now the family has to deal with the consequence. And we're not talking about life insurance. We're not even getting to death. What I'm saying is, you knew every time you didn't eat this thing or ate this thing, you got dizzy. We're not even talking about obvious like skin patches or any of that or stomach problems.
Or gout.
We're not even talking about gout. We're talking about, hey, when I eat this, all of a sudden I feel dizzy, right? And you just knew that, but you never seek any help. Now later on, you got diabetes or whatever you got going on, high cholesterol. You got to take all these pills now. Now everybody else has to change their diet. Now you got to pay for the prescription. You got to do all these things. You could have nipped it in the bud. The roof was leaking. You saw the wet spot, and you didn't go, I should handle that. You were just more like, it'd be all right. Eventually, and boom. So it'd be all right. It's like it is a waste of time. It's not a good discernment. You're showing lack of discernment.
Right.
With the health insurance, if you got it, use it. And if you don't have it, acquire it. And overwhelmingly, I won't give a specific number behind it, but overwhelmingly, it's better to have it than not have it at all.
Right.
There's some people, I have met people in my life where after talking to them in their situation, we figured out how to, and when I say health insurance, I mean health care. So, because sometimes you can go to family health centers. I don't got no health insurance? Okay, I can go to family health centers.
Right.
Lead community care. There's places you can go. There's a mobile bus. You know what I mean? Like, so when I say health care, I just mean like, be aware that there's someone. I feel like I'm ranting, so I'm gonna stop. But you should definitely.
You're not, because they need to hear this. We actually had, especially with the mental health, Sheena was on here first season, she talked about mental health. So for you to even bring that up is a big deal because we're never going to get away from that. Mental health is like a thing, especially with anxiety. Like you said, we done been through like 3 times that the world was going to blow up. The world's over. Now we got fentanyl. Did you see that thing? I think it was on Instagram about, it was a guy, I want to say he was in Georgia, and he said, oh, now if you see a card left in the gas station, do not touch it because it's laced with fentanyl. So if you touch it, it's going to go in your system and you could possibly die.
Just information. Okay, say that's not like likely
so now
to happen,
that's like
but just
more anxiety.
Just knowing that just kind of messes with you.
Yeah.
Like okay. Statistically speaking, that is not likely to happen to you. Even if that was a thing, I'm not saying it isn't or it isn't or not. But I'm saying statistically speaking, that's not likely to occur to you. But just having that on your plate, your mental plate, going, oh, now I gotta be aware of that now. It is like, so when we say anxiety, it don't necessarily have to be like panic attacks or whatever.
It's just
knowledge. It's a lot to deal with.
I feel like the more we know, the more it plays on us. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, before internet and before social media, we had not a care in the world. We go outside, play, go to school, come home, boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Now it's like information is at our fingertips. So the more we scroll, the more we're consuming, and the more anxiety that we're taking in because it's just too much. It's like information overload.
Exactly. They made a TikTok. Social media is a gift and a curse.
It is.
But I watched a video where they were making fun of social media, and the guy was saying how it was a guy, he went to go drink water, and as he drinks the water, he was hearing that how water is good for you, and then right before he put it in, he heard a voice from another TikTok that said, oh, but the plastics are leaking into your water. I can't do that now.
Right.
So he puts it down. Then he goes and he starts cooking like avocados or whatever he's cooking on the pan. And they say, yeah, but the sealing on the pan that they do can cause cancer.
Like they said with the air fryer, if you have this sealing, then that's seeping into your food, causing cancerous vapors or whatever. I'm like,
discernment is like, and my pastor was talking about this today, not as far as discernment, but he was talking about miracles and stuff, so not a big connection, but the whole point is like, okay, what story did he was talking about? He was talking about the hem of the garment. Okay, the young lady, she was bleeding,
right,
and she went to go touch Jesus' garment, right? It stopped the bleeding, right? And there's so many things you can unpack from that story. Pastors use it in one way. But I was thinking to myself, and he touched on it for a second, but this is what I was thinking about, how she had in that verse, I think it was like in Mark, they were basically saying how she spent all her money trying to stop this from happening. For 12 years, she tried all the doctors, and so she was actively working.
Right.
But she never gave up because she didn't want this ailment.
Right.
And she heard about Jesus doing miracles, regardless of thinking him as a savior or nothing.
Right.
She was like, okay, he doing miracles. If he can do it for them, he can do it for me. Okay,
right.
Boom. Okay, so the connection to what we're saying. It's like, okay, we have all these information, all these resources, but if you get to the point where you give up and say this can't be solved, then you're defeated.
Right.
On the flip side, another takeaway was she trusted in God enough to like, yo, you'll fix that.
Right.
Now, some people take that and hyperdo it. God will take care of my illness.
Right.
It's like, no, she had to run through a crowd of people to do that.
Right.
She wasn't laying there and like, Jesus is gonna show up at my house. What she said was, oh, he in town? Bet. There's a crowd of people.
But that goes with faith without works.
Faith without works.
Because she had to work to get to him for him to do that.
And there was a convergence of Jesus, of God doing. God does this. There's a song called "Same God." God gonna do his thing. He is like an infinite moving train. Like he gonna always be moving. He never stops moving, never stops working, never stops talking to us. Always be there. Now, us hopping off the train, that's on us.
Right.
He can't, boom, right?
Right.
So what happened in this situation is when you get to the point where when you not taking care of yourself and you're not using the resources around you, that's on you.
Yeah, you jumped off the train.
You jumped off the train. So the whole thing is like, okay, boom, the mental health,
right,
and using the health insurance and using whatever resources you can, even when they don't work. So I can't use my health insurance because this is the biggest thing with health insurance. They don't. There's a word. You put a claim in, and they basically say we don't authorize authorization.
Yeah.
Authorization. That's like one of the worst part of insurance. But if you have the mindset that, hey, this insurance is a tool, it is not my God, then you start going, okay, what do I need to do to circumvent that? Do I need to write a letter? Do I need to make a phone call? Do I need to make a bunch of phone calls? Do I need to go, you know what? Let's not even put my insurance on this. I'll pay you cash to do this. I'll make payments just to not deal with it. Do I go to a different doctor? Is it like you? This is how all the conversations tie together. If we get so anxious and overwhelmed that we become that lady, except for we didn't run after, then we lose. She'd be still bleeding until she died.
Right.
So the whole point is to not get to the point where you lose your ability to take action. That's what my pastor was talking about. Move. Right. So move. It's like I'm gonna keep moving, and whether I need to see a therapist or whether I need to sit by a beach or whether I'm gonna keep trying various ways to get to the desired results.
Right.
Because really, I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care. For me personally, when you and I talked about this off camera, I just care about the goal.
Right.
How we get there, preferably straight line, clear skies in a clean road.
Right.
But if it gets ugly, hey man, what was your goal? My goal is to, like I said before, my personal goal is to do right by people, do the best by people, see them be amazing, share positive information, just be a positive impact. On the insurance thing, if you care about your family or whatever your centerpiece to your life,
right.
Whether most people say family, but even if you solo, you got no family and you just care about yourself, whether you're thinking about yourself or thinking about others, it's always still good to take care of yourself.
Right.
There is no goal that you could possibly have that I've ever heard where it makes sense to destroy yourself.
Right. Especially if you, like you say, if you're solo, you still want to have a great quality of life while you're here.
Yeah,
so why not take care of yourself so you can do that?
Figure out the best means within your discernment.
Right.
And then when the time comes where you have the decision between, hey, I like doing this, but it kind of hurts me, we're all adults, or not we're all adults, but we all should have enough discernment to pay the cost. I met a guy who's on the beach every day, millionaire. He's on the beach every day, and he surfed and he did all that. Man, cowabunga dude, that type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has really bad skin cancer now.
Because he's been on the beach
every day. Ask him, was it worth it? Ask him, was it worth it?
He'd probably say it was.
Yeah, because he knew going in, his discernment was, all right, and not only was that, he had enough. Now, I'm not saying to do that.
No,
that's not a win.
And if you go outside, wear sunscreen.
I'm not saying to do that, but I respected him not just because he enjoyed his time and he accepted, but also because he prepared his life for it. So he was like, okay, I might get to an age where these things might happen.
Right.
So he did investment. This is a money thing, but he invested and he did all this stuff. So that now, even though he's going through illness, the results or the consequences of the decisions he made, he can bear the weight of. And he's not putting it on other people.
Right.
If you smoke cigarettes for 40 years and everybody's telling you to stop and you get sick.
Not everybody got to come to to help you when people are saying stop doing it. So that is absolutely right. Don't put burdens on people when you know you can fix it yourself. I don't want to have a fish fry to try to bury you. That's a burden now when you could have got your life in order. But my mama got her life in order. Shouts out to mamas with the life in order. Like she got everything situated. Boom. And all her stuff, so I ain't got to worry about doing no fish fries.
No fish fries.
Yeah, life insurance, any insurance is a big deal. Especially in our community, I feel like we're more, like you said, like we were talking off camera. When they don't understand it, it's like, I don't want to do it. It sounds stupid because you don't understand it.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens in our community is, and I mean it I don't mean it to be hurtful when I use the word, I just can't find a better word, but ignorance or the lack of knowing something and fear, right? Both of those things in our community, or not in our community, but I say more than our community, but many people, ignorance and fear can get covered up.
Right.
And presented as something different. So for example, we were talking off camera,
arrogant.
Fear can be covered with shells and presented as arrogant.
Right.
And you're like, well, why are you so arrogant? He ain't arrogant. What he is he's afraid.
Yeah.
But he gonna present it as arrogance.
Right.
Because that's him protecting himself.
Right.
And then ignorance is gonna turn into indifference. So I don't know about this, so I'm gonna act like, oh, it's whatever. But it is not. It's more or less I'm just afraid to learn something new or whatever. So, that's a danger. And if you're aware of that, you have to kind of talk to your community and your friends like, hey, listen, at first my first reaction is to be upset that you won't take this info. But now I acknowledge where you stand and go, all right, how can I get this in a way that you may see it? And how can I educate you in a way? Do you want to be educated, I guess? What result do you want? That's again back to the thing. What do you want to actually happen? Like when I used to do a lot of life insurance. I don't do it as much as I used to do back in the day, but when I was focused on life insurance, I would typically ask the person outside of investing and all these other things, I would say, okay, you pass away and your soul is hovering. What do you want your family situation to look like after that? And then we would start by the heart. I want this person to grieve, actually. They'd be honest. I want this person, my wife better be sad. Something like that. Whatever. But, boom, boom, boom. But I want them to this and this. And they, people keep it real if you're allowed to. And but when we get to the financial part, they say, well, I want this to be the case. I don't want them to struggle this way, that way, and that way. And then I say, okay, have you done the things in this life to make sure that life doesn't look like that?
Right.
And then we meet in the middle. Sometimes it's too late in some ways. I was at a meeting the other day and we talked about the word insurance. Insurance isn't a company. Insurance is you. Insurance is not a company. United Healthcare or Mutual of Omaha or Florida Blue or none of that. Geico, State Farm. Insurance is saying I have a risk, something that could potentially happen, and I've created a safety net for that risk to get the desired results. And that could be in any form. So say if you don't have life insurance, I'm a big believer in life insurance, but say if you don't have life insurance, maybe your life insurance is we have these properties and we have it set up in a trust. So we have it set up in a way that if I pass away, my family can access money this fast. 7 days they can get it. Now, you're not gonna sell a house in 7 days, but maybe in this climate, I don't know. But regardless, the point being, you won't be able to get cash that quick. But if you have a system to create the desired results, then in that sense, you do have insurance.
Right.
I don't need you to pay for a policy every month if you say, no, I have a system and I thought about it and this is what we're going to do. And even if the political, social, economic climate goes down or up, that plan is going to, most of the time, most people can't come up with a plan that solid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, you got the house, you got the businesses. What if the economy trash? What if we back to 08 again? Is it still going to be there?
Right.
But if you pay, $20 a month or 50 or 100, whatever it is, I will guarantee that this person will get a check like this, whether we're in a recession or whether we are, in a political surplus or whatever you want to call it. If you don't have a system that's equal to that, then let's go to get to your desired results.
Right.
If you feel overwhelmed by that, let's go to get your desired results.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Cool. So that's that. That's cool. I'm sorry. Cool. That's it. That's it.
Cool. I mean, you kind of tapped on what motivates you, because I see you're really passionate in both things with the GCL and the life insurance. So I don't really want to ask that because you kind of explained that, but I do want to ask it.
What I do, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be in a place where anything I get involved with, as you've noticed, if I get in something, I'm dead for real.
And he is.
I am dead for real. If you say, Brian, help me move, and I say yes, I'm gonna help you move, and I'm at your house, I'm gonna show up with the glove, anything I got, anything I found in my house that can help. Here's a dolly, here's the gloves, here's a boom, boom, boom. But if I'm not involved, or if I cut off, I'm done. I don't give it no more time or energy. So when I fall back, my fall back is just as strong as my passion.
Wow.
When it comes to my businesses, I have an everlasting passion for them. So, I joke around, but not joke around. I talk about me wanting to go into politics one day, right? And it's a joke, but it's not a joke. I don't know. I'm working on it.
It's a joke, but not really.
It's not really. Like, I might run for mayor. Repeat that. Boom. This is my declaration. Later.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Boom. So, but after I get certain things aligned, but then okay, you're the mayor of the city. Would you still care about insurance and GCL? Yeah, because I'm lifelong with that. Like, I didn't do that for play. A lot of people do things and they do it for play. They do it because it's hot, it's trending.
Right.
So me throwing poetry nights and doing art and community events and trying to bring people together, I'm gonna do it when no one was doing it, which I did.
You did.
And now that it's trending, I'm gonna still do it. And if it stops becoming trending because everybody's at war with each other and we're like another I hate you, I'm gonna still do it.
Right.
And my reasoning for leaving or stop doing that or insurance will be so intimate between me, God, and my wife that no one will be able to say, well, he stopped doing it because of, nope, nothing you can do can stop me from what I've aligned myself to. So if I align myself to help clean your house, as soon as I get momentum, you're gonna be aggravated. You're gonna be like, I don't want to move that chair. I'm like, we're gonna move that chair. Cause I'm in there. I'm like, yo,
Cause we already here, so we gonna move that chair.
We gonna move that chair. I'm here. Like, I wasn't here to play with you. Like, you don't tell me you wanted it. We in there. That's why my friends, we joke about that back in the day in another version of myself when it came to like the aggressive behavior, let's call it that way. And you call me like, hey, we outside and so outside and da-da-da. Hey, bro, if you call me, if I step outside, I'm outside. I'm jumping off the porch. We in there. Don't call me unless you for real. Oh, we for real. All right, then cool. Let's go. Let's do it. So it works. It works positive and it works negative. I'm working on the negative part of it. But
that's cool. So, what can we plan to see from you in the future?
Well, as I alluded to, I want to get more involved with the community. One, because I think that's my third ministry, my first band, my home. And so as my community being my third ministry, I think that it's important for all men, all adults, but specifically men, to find a lane in their community where they can move the meter in a positive direction. So
yes,
for
powerful.
me, mine is collaboration and community. Like, when we say community, we use it in a lot of different ways, specifically the arts and culture, anything culture related.
Yes.
And then eventually in the future, I would like to move from culture to law, to in law and policy. And that's the political side. So whether it's mayor or Lee County Commission or anything, wherever I can do the most impact for the same community, but not in the cultural sense, but from the legal, hey, this is a permit, or you don't have to worry about that permit, or this money is coming through from the federal government. We're going to use it this way, or we'll open up to these people. I'd like to be in those rooms because I think the people in those rooms don't have us in our best interest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, and what I've learned from some of the meetings that we've had with other people, and just what I've learned is that a lot of times they say, well, you didn't come to the meeting, so you don't really get a chance to decide. And that's their justification. When the city councils and when they pass these laws and we get the results of that, they're gonna say, well, you didn't vote, you didn't show up. Even though some of us got 3 kids and 2 jobs and this and this, and their meeting was at Tuesday on a
and they do that intentionally. They do that intentionally. Like, majority of the people cannot come at this time. So you plan it that time.
They plan it that time. It's a slippery slope. So
4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. It's like I get off at 6 or I get off at 5.
And they know that it's a 9 to 5 world.
It's 9 to 5 world, and they do that. The system is built that way, and you got to watch the system. And I don't complain about it, but I'm aware. Someone like, because game recognized game. I'm gonna go, okay, as long as I know that you're not playing a trick on me, I know what I'm dealing with. So they do that. They just do funny things, or they'll promote something in avenues that no one really looks.
Right.
So like, how would I know that happened? We told you guys.
But
where'd you tell me?
Hit it.
Well, you kind of hit it. Well, we put it on our Facebook page. I don't follow the City of Fort Myers Facebook page, dude.
And who does?
Who does? Well, okay, be real. I do, but I'm a weird person, as I said, right? But most people not gonna follow the Facebook page. Or I don't use Facebook. What if I'm detached from social media? How would I have gotten this information?
Exactly.
Right? And so, well, we put it on a billboard. Where'd you put it on? On McGregor Boulevard? Like, how was I supposed to know that the thing that you promoted on McGregor Boulevard, but it was going to affect this street or this place?
Right.
How was I? It's the communication. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I feel as though one thing that I'm going to be an advocate for, because that's my goal, I'm an advocate for right now, but I will be more when I'm in that space, is going to be lines of communication. When I want you to know something, I'm going to get it over to you. If I wanted you to know that you owe me money, you know how hard I would push to get that money? I'm texting you, I'm email, I'm showing them at your house, you can get mailers, boom. They act that way when they want to know that stuff. But the other stuff, they kind of like lackadaisy. Mm-hmm. So communication is going to be a big thing for me. It is a big thing for me now, and when I get into politics, that's going to be the biggest thing. I'm like, it's not about, although I do have ideas, it's not going to be about ideas. It's going to be like, I'm going to make it, whatever we got going on, good or bad, whether you like it or not, y'all finna know. And y'all finna have as much, y'all gonna have as many opportunities to say something about what we're doing before the ship sails. Because everything we're about to go through now in this community, or in Southwest Florida in general, is already done. It's a done deal in Southwest Florida. If you're watching this, and you hear about the millions of dollars that's going through, these meetings that we're having.
Listen, I went to one of the meetings. I'm so glad you said that. For sure, I went to one of the meetings and literally they were telling you in your face that we already have what we're going to do with it. We're just here just to get numbers to say we had a meeting. They already know what they have planned to do with that. Literally, people were walking out. Once they heard a key word out of that whole meeting, you seen people just getting up, walking out, because it was like, it's pointless for us to even be here.
Exactly. That guy, whoever, that woman or man, probably gets in trouble because the powers that be like, you're not supposed to be that obvious. You're supposed to say it this way. But people got enough sense to catch it, and even if they don't, you're making it obvious. But at any rate, my future, I'm following God. And part of going to church and seeking therapy and working on that so that I can hear God better, because I know He's talking to me. Mm-hmm. I have plans, but if you don't see me do the things that I'm saying, it's because God put me in another direction. It won't be because I decided anything different. I'm dead for real on everything that come out of my mouth. I'm 100% for it. But if you 10 years from now, you go, well, Brian, you live on a ranch somewhere and you just don't, whatever, you're doing this, and this. It ain't me. It's because God was like, boy, stop. But at the moment, I feel like God's putting a battery on my back because I keep meeting people like you and powerful individuals. I don't meet slackers. So I'm like, if God wanted me to chill, He'd put me around a bunch of chill individuals. Right. But I keep finding powerhouses. So I'm like, okay, it's game time. So that's it.
That's cool. So you are like a ball of information. How can our viewers get in contact with you? Whether it be on poetry, whether it be on insurance, hosting, whatever.
So I give out my number all the time because I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I get telemarketers anyway. So I have 2 numbers. If you want to call me for business, my business line I don't have memorized. But I'll give you my personal. So my personal line, if anybody's interested, is going to be 239-672-7475. My business line is going to be 239-758-7425. And you can reach me on Facebook, on IG, at Brian Keith Franklin, my full name. I'm putting all my business out there. Open book, Be Frank, open book. My business is Be Frank Solutions. If you want to talk to me about business related stuff like hosting and emceeing, you can go to Be Frank Solutions. It's going to be the same Brian each time. I don't have a secretary. It's going to be me, whatever means you use, right? And if you just want to talk about putting on shows and events, Gulf Coast Leisure is one of my companies, the GCL. That's a team right there. And if you just want to talk about that and keep it to that, feel free. And I'll still communicate through there, but now I have the team involved. And you have the whole might of what we've been doing for 10 plus years with the podcast and the movies and we've done movies and the shows and all that. So I'm very, that's why I try not to have enemies. I'm very touched. You can reach out. Anybody who want to touch me, anybody who want to get in contact with me, it's not that hard. You reach out and like, hey, Brian's there.
And I'm going to pretty much say with GCL, I went there. I actually was a vendor one time, and it was a really good experience for me because that's when I actually brought Crazy Closets out for the world to actually see. not just kind of behind the lens. Like people were actually able to see it, feel it, look at it. I met some amazing people. So GCL was like a really big thing for me to actually like put that foot forward into the community. So I appreciate
that. Show has been a coming out or a catalyst for so many people. And it ain't like sometimes I'm there and I go, hey, you should meet so and so. I do that when I can, like, hey, you two need to talk or whatever. But most of the time, just by being in the room, it's a networking event as well. So just being in a room, a person is like, hey, what you got going over there?
Right.
Oh, boom, boom. And I bought some sweatpants from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be taking my photos, letting people know what it is. And I try to work out, but I don't. Sometimes I work out in the sweatpants. So mostly they're just fashion for me. It's a look. But regardless though, you know, we've had fashion models, singers, hairstylists, poets, rappers, dancers, sculptors, muralists, everything.
Everything under the sun.
We had a magician one time. That was weird, but it was cool. I had a hula hoop girl. I was concerned about that. It was wild because I didn't really want, to be real, I told her I didn't really want her to perform, but it's my job to like make sure we get a mix. So I was like, hey, I'm kind of nervous about this, but I want to give the crowd something different.
Right.
So she comes out with the hula hoop, and I'm thinking, man, we gotta hurry this one up. And she had the one hula hoop, and it was on her neck. Then she had another one in her arm. She got the hips moving. All of a sudden, the other arm is going. The crowd is loving it. The hula hoop's going up and down and magically coming over, and she's doing her thing. And I'm like, and everyone was just wild. You would think she just like Beyonce's the situation. Like, and I was just like, yo. I was like, okay, because they wanted something new, and that's what she did.
Right.
But that's the point. And you know where this the hula hoop girl's from? Southwest Florida. We have everything we need to do everything we want to do. Within this. I don't have to go to Tampa or Miami or Atlanta or New York. I don't have to go anywhere to do it.
Half the time, those people are from there, and they come here. Fort Myers is like a melting pot. Nobody's from here.
Nobody's from here.
So it's like you can find Atlanta, Miami, New York, in Southwest Florida.
In Southwest Florida. And you know the crazy thing is we're talking like before 2010 or like now it makes sense because of the housing and stuff.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like to move here is kind of random. I always find it interesting.
It is very random.
How do you look at the map?
Here?
You look at a map and go Fort Myers. Like you live in Michigan right now.
Right.
Or California. And you go,
oh, I want to go to Fort Myers.
I want to move to Fort Myers. Like how do you come to that conclusion?
You know there's an actual movie. I forgot what the movie is, but it's like a throwback movie. Yeah. And it actually said in the movie, like I guess the guy who was getting ready to retire, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to move to Fort Myers. Yeah. And I'm like, what?
You know, I believe that. I think Fort Myers and Southwest Florida in general is such a sneakily jewel type of place.
It's a gym
that
nobody wants anyone to know about. They just stumble up on it and then what?
Is the pretty girl with the glasses and the hair back, and she been cool. Y'all been laughing the whole time, and all of a sudden one day you're in high school and the light from the window hit her, and you go, oh, she bad actually.
Yes. Or she go to prom and she got to dress up and everybody. It's like She's All That. You see
She's
the
All
movie?
That. Yeah, I don't remember that too well, but yeah, I remember the premise though. Okay, I remember She's All That.
Okay.
Why you look at me like you know? Yeah, I seen She's All That.
Contact lenses, the gorgeous, long, beautiful hair,
all that,
banging body. It's like, is this
Fort Myers? Fort Myers is a baddie.
For real.
But now, so what's happening is everybody else is starting to realize it. Now it's too many people. Okay. And you're like, okay, chill out. She regular. She regular. But the whole thing is the soil here is blessed. Like it is such a wonderful place. And when you live here long enough, you forget that because you focus on mosquitoes, the heat, the love bugs, the traffic, whatever. But then you're like, it's cheesy because I talk to a lot of these older guys, and they kind of on the conservative side. Mm-hmm. Sometimes on the medic. Anyways, And we do like these small, just takeaway phrases like, "How you living?"
Right.
You know, I'm surviving.
Right.
Or something like that. And then occasionally they say, "Oh, we living in paradise," or no, just another day in paradise.
Right.
They say another day in paradise, and I stopped them and go, "You know, you really are in paradise because there is someone right now, not just
planning their life to come here.
Somebody's going to work, hating their job, and like I cannot wait till I get to Fort Myers."
And that's crazy.
Like someone right now is sweating, they're working at the post office, they're doing bricklaying, they're doing whatever they're doing, and they putting money to the side. I can't wait till I can move to Fort Myers.
That's right.
And they appreciate
or just
it.
Southwest Florida,
Southwest
Cape,
Florida,
whatever, Naples, whatever.
To Port Charlotte of all places. Oh my God.
Right. What? Like where you come from? Oh, I'm from Massachusetts. Well, how did you even find Port Charlotte?
How did you find Port Charlotte? And I'm like, and even Port Charlotte kind of starting to surprise me specifically. Some people put me on because I never even. My brain skips Port Charlotte and like goes like Sarasota and stuff like that. So I'd be like, okay, Naples, even Bonita, Estero.
Yes.
I give Lehigh more love than Port Charlotte. And then someone started telling me some of the stuff that's going on up there in Punta Gorda, and I was like, oh, you sneaky. Yeah, y'all doing a little something. At any rate, the point being is I love Southwest Florida, and we got something here. If you're watching this, do whatever you got in your head, do that. Do that, because somebody gonna come out of town and do that. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be so mad. You're gonna be so mad. And you know what? That's okay though, because if you are at the phase where the thing you wanted to do and somebody already doing it, hey man, there's plenty of Burger Kings across the streets from McDonald's, so you can still do that thing.
Yeah.
But you could be winning if you the only fish in town. Right. So just go dominate. Go dominate if you can. You know, in your lane. But yeah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Do you have any words for Bella Talks?
So for you viewers, you know, I got a chance to watch some episodes recently. I love the energy. I'm sad that mine wasn't as funny as jovial as some of the other ones were. Some of the other, because they're good though. They're good though. We did our thing, but I'm gonna say this to the audience that's watching this. You have resources and access to this wonderful individual and other people around town. And even if you can't reach out directly, know that you have peers that see you. Especially when you get to certain levels, your peers will notice you as you progress, right? Your peers will change. I want you guys to know that you can go after it, that no doesn't have to be no forever. It could be just no right now.
Right.
No just means no not from that person. Right. I don't need a yes from everyone. I just need a yes from my people. So find your people. Whoever they are, do good by your people.
Right.
Your people don't have to be race or age or gender. It's just whatever your tribe is. Find your tribe and do right by them. If your tribe is 1 out of every 100 people is part of your tribe, that's cool. Because if you want to get to 100 people in your tribe, you just got to find 1,000 people.
Right.
Do the math. There's 8 billion people in the world. I don't need everyone to love me. I just need my people to love me, and I don't have to fake. So do that. Be great. And once again, be frank. Give me a call if you need anything.
All right. Well, those were some great final words. I have nothing else to say, but I am your host, Kay Bella, and I am with Brian Franklin, and this is Bella Talks.